Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Amber if you're new here, and today we're just going to be talking about our September reading wrap up. I read like 14 books this month, and 2 of them were like very short and a part of a bigger book, and I'll get into that, but it's a lot, and we're just going to get straight into it. It was a good reading month. I had COVID this month. That's probably the only reason that I have as many books as I do. But nevertheless, it was great. So thanks COVID for giving me time to read. First book we read was, we did the audiobook, and I'm rereading the Caraval trilogy. So the first one this month was Finale. I was the last book in the trilogy before I can get to Once Upon a Broken Heart. I'm so excited. So I just did the audiobooks because I knew the story, but I really just wanted like a refresher. I love her writing so much. It's just so different. It definitely feels like I liked that trilogy more when I read it the first time in like 2017. But she really just got me so into reading, and like really is the whole reason that I'm here. So I owe a lot to her. She just made me like fall in love with reading. I don't know how to explain it, so I'll always buy her books. I just think she's fantastic. I gave Finale like a 4 stars. I liked that the story like wrapped up, and like overall I think the series was like a 4 stars. It was definitely not a 5-star feeling, and there is still a lot that I felt could have been done better, but I have very high hopes for Once Upon a Broken Heart because I think that she's just probably grown a lot in her writing, and I hope that it's going to show, and I'm so excited to see certain people in that series. I will be reading that next month. Don't you worry. Next. Also don't have this. My neighbor is lending it from me. Go Hex Yourself. I loved that book. I am not in the fantasy mood. I am very much, oh my god, I'm so stupid. I have not been in like a romance book mood. I just want to read fantasy. It's Fantasy Girl Fall, as you know. But I was like, it's witchy though, so I have to. It was so good. If you haven't read Go Hex Yourself, I highly recommend. I bought the second one because it's like about other characters that were like in the first story, and I think it's gonna be really good. The like level of spice really surprised me because I thought that it was gonna just be really like lighthearted and cutesy, and it was like mature, but I just really enjoyed it. Like the banter was A1. Like it was giving almost like an enemies to lovers, like, you know, that just like the banter that they have, and it just like is unmatched. They had that. The chemistry between those characters was amazing. Like that tops some of like other romance books that I've read, period. And the fact that it's witchy, and it's just so cute. And I can definitely understand how people think it's like a little predictable, but sometimes that's just what you want. So if you're looking for like a sappy, witchy, smutty romance, you should definitely pick that up. I gave that like 4.5. I really wouldn't change anything about it, and I'll always recommend it. Next we read Such Sharp Teeth. My friend Carly chose this for me to read for my September TBR. I enjoyed it. I just wish we would have gotten more. Honestly, I feel like the story was very cut short. It was basically a teen wolf if the main character was a female, and it was just like she just turns into a werewolf. It's funny for sure, and it's like advertised as a rom-com, but honestly I feel like the romance aspect wasn't really there. All it really was, I don't know, it just didn't give what I wanted it to give. But it was still vibey. So if you just want a werewolf like funny book, I think some of like, I don't know, her humor is funny, but at the same time sometimes the main character would just piss me off a little bit, just like really annoying sometimes. So I give this like a 3 stars. I definitely don't think it's the worst book in the world, and I think it's vibey. It's freaking werewolves. Like, what? It's for October. It's for the spooky girlies. So I recommend. It just wasn't incredible. Next we have Butcher and Blackbird. I adored this book. I did not think this was going to be so freaking good, but it was so good. It's a 5 stars for sure. We follow 2 serial killers, but they go after the serial killers, the bad guys, the rapists, the murderers, you know, all of them, all of the above. And check your trigger warnings. There's apparently accidental cannibalism. That might be how you found this book, like me. If TikTok calls you out on your unhinged mind. If that's you, then I highly recommend. If this has been on your For You page, it's probably for you. I love these characters so much. Basically, they meet up, they run into each other, and they're like, we should have a competition where we go after the same target, and like neither of us know who it's going to be, and we find out who it's going to be, and then we go after them, and whoever kills them first wins. And they continue this for years. The like slow burn is so slow burning. Oh my god. And he falls first. You love him so much. I can't even. He literally saves a table for her at his restaurant with her name on it. He will not let anyone sit there. It takes her like a couple years to finally come. But he saves that table. Nobody's allowed to sit there. Only her. And I'm like, you're so cute. And yeah. There's a playlist. There's not only a playlist, there's like songs for each chapter. So you've got like 2 or 3 songs that are like pretty timed with like how fast you read it. Sometimes I would like read a little faster than the songs, and sometimes I would read like a little bit slower, and then I just tried to like keep up with it. But I loved that though. I love that this like songs were for the chapter, so they just kind of like went with what was going on. That was so thoughtful and so cute of her, and I love it. I really can't tell you anything else except that you really have to read it. And it's funny. There's so much banter and comedy in this. It's great. It's a great time. Next we read The Ex-Hex. I DNF'd this. I don't DNF books very often. If you have been here for a while, you know this. And I think it was just not what I wanted at the time. I don't really know. I gave it a 1 star because I DNF'd it. I got almost to the end, and like realistically, I could have just finished it out. But I hate this. I was at the point where I didn't even care. I didn't even care how it ended. I didn't care what happened to the main character, the love interest. I did not care. And I was like, oh my gosh. And the vibes were like really good, but I think maybe because I read the Ex-Hex, and I didn't even read them close together. But that at least, like I was enjoying it so much that I wanted to know what happened. I don't know. This just wasn't delivering. The plot was so surface level. There wasn't anything keeping you interested. It was so predictable, which is perfect sometimes. Like that's exactly what I expected this book to do. I didn't expect it to like surprise me, but there was just something about it that I just couldn't. It felt like I was just like pushing through and just like, but I didn't care. So I was like, well, if I've gotten to the point where I don't even care how this ends, then I really just shouldn't finish it. So I didn't, and yeah, I'm very sad because I really wanted to like it. And I even bought the second one. So I don't like it, but that's okay. Next I read Vow of Thieves because I read Dance of Thieves last month, and this is so good. It definitely, I don't know if I still like think about it because I'm like, how long is it going to take me to forget it? I don't know. It comes so close to a 5-star, but I just don't know that it gives me that 5-star feeling where I'm like, it tops it all, you know? So I think I give it like a 4.5, 4.75 maybe. There's just something about it that I feel like could have been better, but as far as like characters go and even the plot, like maybe it was the plot that could have been just a little bit better maybe, but the characters really are just like the whole reason that I love this book so much. I just adore them. I highly recommend Dance of Thieves. If you haven't read this duology, you definitely should. My favorite parts were definitely the beginning of the first one and then the end of this one, which makes total sense. But yeah, I'm glad I finished it. I love them. I really do. I feel like it comes so close to a 5-star that I could almost just call it a 5-star. I highly recommend though. Next I read The Naturals. I'm so glad I picked this up. It was just such a like quick read. I loved, I don't know how to explain it. I loved the characters. I feel like there's going to be like a really strong found family in this series. I feel like at first you don't really get it because everybody's kind of like getting to know the new girl who's the main character. But basically, if you didn't know, this story is about how the FBI like hires high schoolers with powers to solve cold cases because the normal people can't do it. And it's really good, and it definitely has like a mystery aspect to it. I felt like the mystery kind of came out of nowhere in a way, but it was fine. Like, I enjoyed it. I think it was, like, not the greatest thing of all time. I give it, like, a 4 or a 3.5, 4-star. I don't know. I really can't decide. I think I give it a 3.5 just because it's, like, not, I don't know why I'm stuffy right now. Thanks, COVID. I don't know. It's not something that I normally read, but I really enjoyed it. But it wasn't, like, the greatest, if that makes sense. But yeah, but if this intrigues you, I think the vibes are vibing. I just think it could have been done up a little bit more. I think it just reads too easy for me, which sounds crazy. Sometimes that's great. So if you just want something that you really don't have to work that hard to read, this is it. And the story does move. And yeah. Next, I picked up A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I really loved this. It really did give the Pretty Little Liars, like, nostalgia. And the female main character is just so unapologetically herself. She's so funny. She does not care. She's like, this is what I think, and I'm gonna prove it to you. So I really like her. And the mystery of it all is just super cute. Like, she's just basically trying to solve this murder that happened 5 years ago and prove that the person who is put behind bars for it did not do it. And it's just got this, like, lightheartedness to it. Again, the Pretty Little Liars, like, nostalgia aspect, just like Nancy Drew vibes, and I really enjoyed it. I think this is probably 4 stars. Another book my friend is borrowing, Foxglove. I just wanted to, like, go ahead and get it out of the way because I liked Belladonna, and I just read it like 2 months ago. When did I read it? No, I read it in August. I read Belladonna and I really enjoyed it, but I enjoyed Foxglove. I think I kind of like Belladonna more. The story just kind of took a turn, which I think could have been done better. I think in general, just the way the plot went was annoying, no matter how it was done. Like, even if it was done well, I would have been a little annoyed. But the vibes were still vibing, and I still enjoyed it. I give it a 3.5. I'd still recommend, but it's definitely not for everyone. So if you didn't really like Belladonna, don't expect, like, Foxglove to be any better. And that's all I have to say about that. The next book I read was actually a manga. I don't have it with me. Of course, this is like the video of not having my books. It's called The Duke of Death and His Maid. It was so freaking cute. If you like manga, it's just one of those cutesy, really funny ones. Basically, the Duke of Death is what he sounds like. Anything he touches dies, like, no matter what it is. A plant, a person, they just die. So he is basically, like, pushed away by his family. It's like, ooh, we don't want you here. But they're rich, so he has, like, a whole mansion to himself. He has a maid, and then he has a butler. And it's just about how, like, his maid just teases the crap out of him and just, like, excuse me. It's just so funny because he can't touch her because she'll die. And she's always just, like, teasing him or, like, just, like, poking fun at him. It's just so funny. And I just really enjoyed it. I needed something to just be easy on my mind. And I've been really wanting to, like, read a little bit more manga at least. It's hard because I feel like if I'm sitting down to read manga, I should just sit down and read a book because I have so many books to read. But it was such a nice break. It literally took me 45 minutes. So this is your sign if you've been wanting to. Just read the manga, okay? It's worth it. It'll just make you happy most of the time. Yes. Next, on my Kindle, I finally got new Kindle stickers. And PopSocket, actually, I have 2 more stickers in the mailbox I have to grab. But I started the Mind F series, so this is where that, like, weird book part comes in. There's 5 books on here, and I read 2 of them and started the 3rd one. However, it's technically just 1 book, because you can just buy it as 1 book on Amazon, so I'm in the middle of it, but I did technically complete 2 books on my Kindle from the Mind F series, so we're counting it, okay? Next, I did the audiobook of The Hunger Games. I'm just doing a reread because I honestly don't even... I read these in middle school. I don't remember really reading them. I just know that I did. And I want to finish rereading them before the movie comes out, and I want to read the Songbirds and Snakes. Or Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So hard for what? Yeah. It was what it was. I honestly kind of enjoyed it, though. It was kind of nice, like, hearing the audiobook and just, like, kind of reliving it. There were a couple things that were different, but I feel like for the most part, the movie kind of stayed with the plot. But it was very enjoyable, so. Next, I read our book club pick of the month, which the video is coming. King of Battle and Blood. I kind of hated it. When we did our like book club sit down video, I was like, okay, maybe it's like a 3.5 or 4 now. I honestly think it's 2 stars. The longer I've like sat with it, and I only finished it a week ago, the more I'm like, this was kind of not at all what I wanted. And it just had so much potential. This is what we were talking about. Go watch the video if you really want to hear about it. But I don't know. It's just, at first it was giving just such good potential. We were just like, it's gonna be good. It's like a vampire. Basically, it's a vampire enemies to lovers, but she's human. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. Anyway, it's cool, and I think that it just could have been so much better. It could have been done so much better, and I wanted to love it. And the only reason I thought that I really loved it is because she also wrote A Touch of Darkness, and I hated it because it was just smut and no plot, which can be great. Like, Ice Planet Barbarians, basically no plot, just smut. But you, like, I don't know, it's just the way it presented itself. It was like she was trying to make a plot out of nothing. It almost read like a high school, like, YA book. Like, that's just, like, basically aimless and, like, has no meaning. It's just, like, for your entertainment. But then throw a frick ton of smut in there. And I'm like, this is supposed to be adult for my adult brain. Anyway, I say it's 2 stars. I don't recommend it at all, and I think that our book club pick of the month, stay tuned for that, will be way better. And that was it. Yeah. I also, this, like, it's not a part of the wrap-up, but I'm just saying it because if you're here, then maybe you care. But I started Powerless, and I'm, like, halfway through. I think I'm finally halfway through. I'm eating it up. It's my new fantasy favorite. There's no way it's not my new favorite fantasy of the year. It comes close to Fourth Wing. Like how we were all saying that Fourth Wing has some kind of drug in it, like in the pages, Powerless does as well. I have cat hair flying everywhere. That's all for my September reading wrap-up. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for my October TBR. I'm so excited! I know I'm never going to read everything I want to read because there's just too many good, like, spooky, vibey books to read. Period. We need to just extend spooky season, and I probably will be doing that. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.